We're leaving Chechnya and approaching the little-known but highly feared Republic of Dagestan, which the British Foreign Office warns people not to visit under any circumstances. So down there is the town of Andi, and it's the first town inside Dagestan, and apparently it's got one of the highest concentrations of Islamic insurgents in the whole of the region. The Russians call them terrorists, but a lot of the local people call them freedom fighters. There's a police checkpoint just ahead, and this is the official border post into Dagestan.
Что вам нужно? Документы, паспорт? Документы? Сейчас я дам. Lev, can I have your passport, please?
It's like 3 policemen, and they just wanted to know who we were, what we were up to. I can't imagine that many foreigners pass through this way, but actually, after about 10 minutes chat, they just said, right, just go. So we've left now.
They're all really hyped up because of the situation in the mountains, you know.
This volatile state has been called the most dangerous place in Europe. Insurgents continue to fight Russian occupation under the banner of Islam. During the 1990s, when the Chechen War was happening, just over the border to the west, a lot of the Chechen rebels tried to escape from the Russian army here to the east into Dagestan. Today, the rebels hide out in these mountains, and just 2 months ago, security forces found an arms cache in this town. So it looks like we're getting into the centre of town now. This is the centre of Andi. It's difficult to know who's the good guys and the bad guys around here.
Салам алейкум.
Salam alaikum.
Это мой друг англичанин. Я сам с Кисловодска, меня зовут.
Is there anywhere to stay around here? Is there any like guest house? Спасибо. Thank you very much. До свидания.
We can just, shall we just walk towards Gagatli?
Yeah. So which way is Gagadli?
А как в сторону Гагатли пройти, братья? Вот эта дорога? Прямо, вниз?
Прямо.
We make it half a mile out of town when we're stopped by 2 men in a 4x4. They say they're police and that they're taking us back into Andi.
Дальше маршрут как у вас? Дагестана, там на границу, потом...
Да, Азербайджан.
Вы отсюда поедете обратно в Чечню, как я понял?
Нет, конечно.
After 10 minutes of questions, the police seem to accept that we're harmless.
Тогда наверх поднимемся. И это...
Они, думаю, они на подъездах где-то уже, потому что они говорят, ну, мы едем, они едут через село.
Не, я имею в виду, если вам же ночлег нужен и так, правильно?
Да, а где искать вообще?
Ну, что искать? У меня переночуете, поедете тогда, что, другого, как?
Брат. Yeah, guys, he says...
What's that?
Не, мы разместимся на полу, да. He says you're staying in my home, at my home tonight, yes.
That's very kind. Namin has brought me to the remote but renowned village of Kinalik. For a small place, the residents make a big claim. They say it was here that Noah's Ark came to rest. Namin here has got a friend who lives in the village. What's your name? Hajibullah. Thank you. So the people here think that they're actually Noah's descendants. Despite the remote setting, the people of Kinalik have a proud, scholarly tradition. Oh, this is wow. He lives in a museum. This is the oldest one, is it?
Yes, oldest.
Wow. Where are these from?
Hardandır bu pullar?
Bu pullar buradan tapılıb, torpaqdan
It's
tapılıb.
found here in Kinalik.
What's that?
People,
Oh, yeah. He's even got a brand new English £5 note. with Churchill on the front.
Sparta. Sparta'nın kılıncı tapılı var orada. Aparıp yoxlayıblar eyni şey çıxıb metal
The
eynidir.
sword of Spartans here.
Really?
Yes.
Which one's the Spartan?
Baba.
So,
The second one.
Hə, göydəki lap qədim görsən dəstəyi də olmayan.
so he thinks that's
O birisi
Roman.
Mongol Tatardı.
Spartan, yes.
Very cool. Good museum. We get introduced to Haji Bala's neighbour. Yusuf, nice to meet you. Then we're sucked into a long-running village dispute. So do people think that the Noah's Ark is here and not in Turkey?
Yes.
Nuhun tufanı olub. Nuh gəmi düzəldib, gəlib burada düşüb.
Onun için de Nuh'un evladı Kenan. Ve bu sonralarında ölür. Yasef ölmüyor, Kan ölmüyor. Kan. Yasef. Biz Ket tayfalardan olduk.
Yox, biz Yasefin övladlarıyıq. Xam və Sam. Dünyanın
Kan, Kan, 3,
Yasef, Kenan batıb.
4. Hala burada ölüb. O tufanda, tufan. Deniz değil, o hemen tufanda değiller.
Tufanda batır da o biləndə.
Neyse.
Well, that cleared that one up.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
As we leave the next morning, we discover how residents of Kinlik power their village. What's your name?
Baghdad.
Baghdad. Oh. So basically, Baghdad here is making shit bricks. With few trees at this high altitude, they are forced to burn manure instead of wood. So what do you use these for?
Yanacak da yanacak.
So this is just from the cows then, not
Yes.
from the sheep or anything?
Koyunun da var, ineğin de var, buzuğun da var, atın da var.
Any old shit will do. Baghdad, can I help?
Ne yiyeceksiniz bunu?
Okay, that's definitely it.
Just stand on it and squash it up a bit.
Öyleyiz.
Right, this is...
Go on.
What the name of exploration? Yours seems a lot more solid than mine. Is that okay? I reckon you're going to squash it up and start again, aren't you, when we leave? All right, so we'll leave you to it, Baghdad. Thank you very much.
Çok sağ olun.
Çok sağ ol, çok sağ ol.
Sağ ol.
Have a nice day.
Sağ ol.
Çok sağ ol.
Yaxşı ol, yaxşı ol.
In winter, shepherds from the freezing northern highlands bring their flocks to graze on the Gobistan's mild plains. Now it's spring, they're returning to the high summer pastures. Like Olan here.
Necəsən qardaş?
How many sheep do you have to look after?
Vallahi qoyuna baxırda qoyun gəlin olanda gəlin qoyunu ötərmək olur. Baxırda elə vaxt olur 500 olur, elə vaxtda 1500 olur. Yəni heyvan sayına baxır da.
Wow. How far do you travel?
Buradan Usaracan, Qubiyacan piyada gedirəm. Eşqol.
400 kilometers maybe.
400 kilometers on
Ümür
foot.
sürüdən şeydir, bu ümür sürüdən.
And where do you sleep? Just outside with your sheep?
Yo, biz qışdağdayıq, burada ev pişərək.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yaxşı, sağ ol.
Çok sağ ol, çok sağ ol.
Sağ ol.
While some like Olan pass through here,
What do you think this building is up ahead?
others call this home.
It looks like farm.
Who are these? Who are the people?
So the shepherd's families.
Assalamualaikum.
This shepherd's camp is home to some 60 people and nearly 1,000 sheep and cattle. It's been here for generations. Group of families all just living here in the middle of nowhere. Whilst the men herd, the women keep the place running. Protecting this site from wolves or their Caucasian shepherd dogs.
This is how the dogs are welcoming the strangers here. So we are very lucky that the owners are here, or they can tear us apart.
They're bred to kill wolves, but I'm sure would happily have a piece of me. Is it a hard life living out here in the desert?
Zaten burada belə gəzirsiniz, bu itlər tutsa kim cavab verəcək?
got any tents. So we're just going to blow up our air mats and just get our heads down for the night.
We'd hoped to make it out of the desert tonight, but by 6 p.m, it's gone dark.
How close is it, Louis?
7 meters away from us.
Is it a dog or a wolf?
Dog. Usually the dogs have this special area which is under protection.
Maybe we're in it. It's just been circling our camp. It's not leaving us alone. Fingers crossed it doesn't come any closer. The dog got pretty close last night. It was sniffing around the camp all night and barking, but didn't attack us, which is the main thing.
Nagorno-Karabakh was claimed by Armenia before the Russians took over and handed it to Azerbaijan 100 years ago. Armenia's been trying to get the land back, and in 1988 went to war with Azerbaijan to regain control. Our route is taking us through abandoned towns and the last inhabited Armenian village before the front line in one of Europe's longest running conflicts.
Total devastation.
We've crossed into Nagorno-Karabakh.
Remains of a vehicle, military vehicle.
20 years ago, this was a thriving spa resort.
Just been completely destroyed. Some of the buildings have clearly been hit by artillery shells. Others have just been blown up. Some have burnt down.
Armenia has one of the highest rates of emigration in the world. But some, like Anush, have decided to stay.
I was 6 years old, and our childhood was, pretty difficult. We call it the dark years because electricity was limited. So much resource had to be spent on the war, that water, fuel, everything. We were running out of everything, all bread.
Yeah.
To get us close to the front line, Anusha's called on the help of an old friend.
So you were here during the fighting, during the war? And were you a soldier during the war? This has got to be the draftiest car I've ever been in. But, it's getting us there. Yeah, this is... Driving the... Keep careful. Stop looking off the road. Look at the road.
Despite 30 years of fighting, there are still 150,000 Armenians like Edward who refuse to leave here.
And can you hear the fighting from here? What would happen if Azerbaijan invaded? Are you ready to fight?
The last fighting in this region happened just 5 days ago.
I always breathe like this. Definitely, yeah. Over there in the distance, about 4 miles away, is Azerbaijan begins. Down there in no man's land, there's the occasional burnt out, bombed out house, but apart from that, it's just trenches, shell positions.